Okay, I felt the need to have a little bit of a defense for Edward that John describes as an empty vessel on which we hang our hopes and aspirations. Now, in the first book, this is actually true, and Bella really has no reason for loving him, and he has no reason for loving her other than physical attraction. However, as the series develops, I feel that Edward does sort of showcase more of his personal maturity. I mean, he is hundreds of years old, or rather a little over 100, not hundreds, yeah, because it was 1900. But I mean, he's like 100 years old. He's been around a while. He's had time to, grow as a person. He may look like a 17-year-old, but I think it's been a really long time since he acted like a 17-year-old. And women find that attractive. That's attractive in a man. I would just also like to put in that I am pretty unbiased, because whereas I did kind of like Edward's character by the end of the book, he's really not, I'm not squealing over him or anything, I promise. I also feel that he ends up being a little bit more reasonable than Jacob. He kind of accepts. He doesn't like it. He doesn't have to like it, but I think he more accepts Bella's love for Jacob quicker than Jacob accepts Bella's love for Edward. However, none of this really means that he's the better guy for Bella, because Bella is a lame character, and they're really actually both better than her. I started out really liking Jacob better, and thinking what a lot of other people tend to think, that, Bella should have ended up with him. I mean, what's all this? I mean, I think even now that if she deserves anyone, which, what is Bella's, positive personality traits? She's just a normal, self-conscious teenager. It's nothing else about her. But, I mean, she got along with Jacob a lot in the second book, and they had a lot of human, normal interaction and great conversation. She's like, oh, but he's just a friend. I don't understand that. She's having more of a personality compatibility with this one guy, whereas this other guy she loves inexplicably. She says, yeah, he's brilliant and intelligent and good and kind, and yes, later on you do find out that actually he does fit that bill. He does. But only later. She loved him before that, and that is based on something that we call hormones. So we just have to hope that those hormones are eternal. But the thing that really disappointed me about Jacob was that he was completely bipolar when he became a werewolf. I mean, before that, he was a pretty reasonable, tolerant guy. He wasn't happy with the fact that Bella was in love with this other guy, but he was like, okay, whatever, such is the way of life. But then, when he becomes a werewolf, he becomes completely, prejudiced and intolerant. Vampire, must hate all vampires, no real reason, which, sure, Edward's the same way, the whole long girl thing and everything, but I suppose, whereas Edward was always a vampire and would have always thought that way, Jacob sort of changed a lot as a person, and I found that disappointing because it changed in a lot of bad ways. And normally I really like werewolves. I'm kind of a werewolf girl, more so than a vampire girl. But he went a little bit nuts and a little bit overly angry a lot of the time. And I get the whole anger and werewolf thing go together, but I didn't think it helped his character. So, to reiterate, I don't think Edward's an empty vessel. He's got a great, vast store of knowledge, I'm sure. He's always talking to Carlisle about medical things, and he can play excellent concert piano, but none of this means that he should be with Bella, or with me, or, you know, whatever, he's happy. That's all.